Alright guys, with breeding season right around the corner, some of you guys might have questions on how to breed, what to look for, what danger signs to look for. In this video, I'm quickly going to cover all of that for you. And before we get into it, let's roll that new intro. So first step, you need to make sure your geckos are ovulating. Most leopard geckos naturally will ovulate between the months of December through about March. But it's possible that if you have a leopard gecko that you raised up since a baby, it could start its ovulation cycle in a different month. So you want to know what to look for. Every time I clean the female geckos around breeding season, I look for ovulation. So if you'll look online, you'll find pictures like this. These pictures show that ovulation is displayed by one or two bright pink dots that will be staggered on the torso of your leopard gecko. Usually one dot will be on the upper right side and one dot will be on the upper left side. They'll kind of be staggered a little bit like that. And so just keep an eye out for those pink dots. With leopard geckos, it's so easy. That's pretty much it. As soon as you see them ovulating, the female should be receptive to the male. If for some reason she is not, then you can remove her if she starts fighting him off or doesn't show interest or they don't breed after a few minutes. But in this video, I will show you step by step what the breeding process looks like after you see ovulation. Whoa, how did I get in here? Okay, well at least we can get a close-up look now. So here's a couple of geckos I paired up the other night. The male is on the left, the female is on the right. As you can see, I put the male into the female's tub and then they kind of act flirtatious towards each other a little bit. The male will vibrate his tail quickly as well as nibble on the female. And if the female wants nothing to do with him, she will run away or chase him off. If she does that, it's a sign that she doesn't want to breed for whatever reason, even if you think she's ovulating. So they're going to do a little bit of a dance here. This is their courtship. As soon as you put the male in, most of the time he will vibrate his tail almost right away within the first 30 seconds. That lets the female know that he is interested. Then he'll come over to her face. Sometimes they'll touch noses. He'll wiggle his tail some more. And then he'll start getting into position. Some males will bite all up and down the female, like nibble down her back, down her tail, and other males will just bite where they need to, around the neck, which is where they can grab a hold of the female to get into breeding position. So here you see that they're getting ready to go into breeding position, which is the female will lift her tail and the male will slide his tail under hers. Now, you don't really have to know what's going on down there, but they're exchanging DNA. So as you can see right now, he is in position, but for whatever reason, he doesn't follow through in this position, which is okay. The total length of this video without editing is about 5 minutes. So just so you know, this isn't like hours of courtship, but within a minute here or so, he's gonna change position and get her into a position where he is comfortable with breeding her. And so sometimes it's just a little bit of a dance. Honestly, if I wasn't making this video for educational purposes, I would just leave them in there, continue on with my tasks like cleaning up other tubs and stuff, and kind of peek in on them, every once in a while, make sure they're actually locking, and then come back. And if I see that the male is on one side of the tank and the female's on the other side, and if I see that she's completely avoiding him, then I know that she has more than likely received fertility. She's done for the day, she's done for the night, she's done for the next 2 months, and then I will separate the male. I'll put the male back in his cage and leave the female in her cage. So you can see he chooses now to bite up and down her body, which is sort of like flirtatiousness for them. It's sort of like stimulation. She was already submissive. She was already getting into a position. So why do males lose their focus, so to speak? I don't know. It's in their DNA to flirt. We'll put it that way. So they will flirt for a little bit, and then you'll see he's now realigning his tail to get into position one more time. She's kind of trying to help him get in position. you'll see that they don't have the best grip here. He's trying, he's appearing to try here. You can see how much higher her tail is lifted than the first time, and they're definitely getting really close. And so they're gonna struggle here around a little bit. He's finally gonna latch onto her neck like he's doing right here. And then you will see a pause. You will see them stop moving for a couple seconds. That's basically a sign that his muscle is going into her body to pass along his DNA. So this is a sensitive point. You don't want to jar them out of this position because he's literally, his private part muscle is locked with her. And if you were to jar them apart or pull them apart, it could injure, you know, his boy part there, and that could put him out of commission for a while. Now you can see her start to wave her tail. I've actually never seen a female do that before. This is the first time. And I was worried that the waving of the tail is sort of an aggressive sign of a lot of geckos. It's like a back away, get away kind of warning. You can see she's waving her tail more. What that means is she feels like she's already fertilized and she does not need to breed. If she didn't want to breed, she would have never let him lock. She, you know, put his tail under hers. She would have ran away, bit him. She would have ferociously fought him like you see in my new introduction of the video. You see one of my geckos fighting off the other gecko. So this was the first time I saw this where she actually waved her tail like in the middle of breeding without letting the male pull away first. I was a little concerned that he might hurt his boy part, but it didn't happen. And you can see him here licking his boy part. This is the first time I've caught it on film. The hemipenes of the male, it's called hemipene because like a male human being has one private part and a gecko has two private parts, so they're called hemi, meaning multiple, you know. So two penes. They only use one for reproduction though. And whichever one was used, a lot of times will kind of be left out of the pocket a little bit, out of his body. And that's not good. They need to get that back into the body. So give them a couple minutes to lick himself after. That stimulates that muscle to retract and go back into his body. If it doesn't go back into his body, give him like a warm bath, put some honey on there. I would try water first. Just give him a warm bath. If that doesn't work, give him a little honey. I've never had a problem with leopard geckos, but sometimes with crested geckos and gargoyle geckos, their private part will be left out for days at a time. Just make sure their enclosure is clean and it's good as long as you don't see infection like pussiness, poofiness, oozing, anything that looks bad. As long as it's pink and doesn't look like it's blown up or blown out of proportion, nothing looks weird, then you'll be okay. But with leopard geckos, I've actually never seen their hemipenes left out for longer than a minute or so. That's the first time I've actually ever seen the hemipene of a leopard gecko. Usually as soon as the male is done, it goes right back in. Again, with crested geckos and gargoyle geckos, it's a little different. It will stay out, and that'll be a whole nother video, but that is okay as long as it's not getting infected. So keep the cage clean, make sure it's not getting infected, and just give them a few days to let them get their private part back in. So now you will see the behavior between the male and female here will change. The male was just vibrating his tail a second ago. A lot of times the males will try to go for round two. And if the female was already fertilized, she already feels his DNA was successful in transferring to her, she won't allow him. She'll run away, she'll fight him off, and then eventually he'll get the point. Like right now, he's basically stopped advancing to her because she's not letting off those pheromones and giving off the vibe that she wants to continue breeding. And he gets that, and now he's looking for an out. And so basically this is where I would just give him another minute to put his private part back into his body and then put him back in his cage. So one of the things I did in this video, guys, was I removed all of the decorations, the humid hide box, the food bowl, the water bowl. I learned that it's better and more efficient for that stuff to be out of the way. It gets in the way while they're trying to breed, number one, And sometimes it doesn't allow me to see if they were successful at breeding number 2. And they don't seem to mind it. It helps them to see each other faster, get engaged faster, get engaged faster, meet each other faster. It's all around more efficient. So if you keep your leopard geckos in a breeding tub situation, like setup, as I do here, you know, you're gonna have your males in their own tubs, your females in their tubs. Remove all the stuff from the female's tub, take the male, put him into her tub, and give it a few minutes. You know, it's gonna sound creepy, but watch, because you wanna make sure that the female is not getting stressed out and doesn't accidentally bite the male's eyes off, because females get pretty aggressive when they're trying to fight off the male, as you can see in my introduction video. That's why I put that educational topic there, because if you see your females beginning to vigorously fight off the males, they're not ready. They're not ovulating, or for whatever reason, they don't want to breed. Maybe they feel like they're fertilized. Maybe they feel like they're underweight for the breeding season. Whatever it might be, separate them for a little bit, diagnose what her issue might be. Maybe she's a newer female, maybe she's underweight, you can feed her, diagnose the problem, and retry again a few days or a few weeks later. You're not really going to miss much. You know, when they start ovulating, they ovulate for about a month or so, and then they will have about 6 clutches, which is about 12 eggs. So they will lay a pair of eggs every 2 to 3 weeks for about 4 to 5 months. Sometimes the male's sperm will die out in her, and she won't have enough of his sperm to fertilize all 6 of those clutches. So what I would recommend is, after she lays 3 clutches, so after she's laid 6 eggs, or she's laid 3 times for you, try to repair her with the male and see if she will receive him. If she does not receive him, it's okay. Don't worry about it. That means she feels like she has enough sperm retained in her body to last her for at least another clutch. And then after the next clutch comes, try again for the last 3 clutches, and she might never mate again with that male, or she might mate with him to replenish that sperm supply. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any more questions on breeding, it's such a vast topic. There's people that do it in multiple different ways. Hit me up. You know, you can email me at GeekyGeckoCreations@gmail.com. You can message me on Facebook or Messenger, Geeky Gecko Creations. I'm also on Instagram, Geeky.Gecko.Creations, or leave a comment below. And again, when you like this video and you share this video and you subscribe to my channel, it all really helps to promote the growth of this channel. So I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video.